The day has finally come. We've got our 79 International Harvester Scout out for some real fun. We're going wheeling at Turkey Bay OHV area. And we'll take a look back at some Scout history. Finally, we're taking on the Rock Garden. It's all right here on XOR.
Hey guys, welcome to XOR. Well, the day has finally come and we get to pay off our International Scout. So we're out here at Turkey Bay.
That's right. We've got our good friend Michael Brewer of Tread Lightly behind us, and we're here to have some fun.
Our 1979 International Harvester Scout project was not only a fun build for us, you guys really like this project. And it's great to finally take this overlanding rig out in the woods and let it do what it was designed to do.
We knew the interest in this build was high when so many people stopped us to get a closer look and check out our Scout when we took it to both Ellis Fest East and West. In fact, we got a chance to stretch its legs a little bit on the Ultra 4 track at the event.
Now coming slow. Even though it wasn't a true and proper payoff, we did get to cycle the suspension and apply all the power of our LS2 engine.
But it's out here in the woods of Turkey Bay that this big ol' iron monster is right at home.
We started off pretty easy, just cruising down some of the trails. Nice and easy. And not too long after we got started, we were stopped by a tree that had fallen across the trail, and we thought, well, what better way to put our overland accessories to the test? Well, can't really go any bit further, so we're gonna try to winch the tree out of the way and see if our winch does its job. Woohoo! Like it's not even there. How about back up and we'll pull it out of the way?
With the tree gone, we got to really flex out our suspension on some of the deeper trails. Up front, we used D and C's spring over kit with new 2.5-inch springs, and we've added Reed's high steer kit. Turning our BFG 37s comes courtesy of PSC's hydraulic assist kit. Our axles, front and rear, have Yukon's chromoly shafts, 456 gears, Eden's Detroit lockers, and they are all topped off with new seals, bearings, ball joints, and U-joints.
Mike, with Tread Lightly, parked his Jeep and jumped out to help us maneuver this big beast because we could barely see over the hood.
Easy. Back to passenger. Good job, good job. Back to driver. Straight on. Driver. Good job, good job. Keep it coming just like that. Passenger, that's it, straight.
Now that Mike has gotten us through and over the washout, we can see what lies on the other side of this hill.
Up next, we'll give you a history lesson on the Scout.
Go anywhere with International Scout.
And later, we'll go bouncing around the rock garden.
PowerNation is brought to you by Rock Auto.
Hey guys, welcome back to XOR and the payoff of our Overlanding Scout here at the Turkey Bay OHV area in Kentucky. And our vintage iron is doing great.
It's a prime example of the rejuvenation in the interest of International Harvester's iconic Go Anywhere vehicle. After all, nothing says off-roading more than a Scout.
It all started in 1961 when International Harvester introduced the Scout 80 with its standard 93 horse, 152 cubic inch 4-cylinder that was manufactured in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Go proudly. Go anywhere with good-looking four-wheel drive International Scout.
Scouts were built to rival the Jeep CJ, but were not as sparse as the military-inspired Jeep of the time, essentially kicking off the whole sport utility vehicle craze.
These were really built on truck frames and meant to go off-road, where our sport utes today are kind of more just, if we fall off our driveway onto the grass, it kind of helps us get off the grass, so to speak, you know.
An exciting new idea in a good-looking, hard-working, all-purpose vehicle.
The Scout 80 rumbled on from 1965 to 1971 as the 800 series with an upgraded interior. And it became the first International offered with a V8 power plant. These things were made to go anywhere.
We lit out across the country because it was closer. Well, sir, that International Scout of mine performed like a champion, too. It's got the V8 engine, and you'll climb just about anything you aim her at. International Harvester makes those Scouts rugged as a bear. I threw her an all-wheel drive, and we sailed through the bottom slick as a whistle.
1971 saw the introduction of the Scout 2, with a new front grille, electronic ignition, and a Saginaw power steering system. Becoming standard gear were Dana 44 axles, power disc brakes, and you could even get a diesel-powered version of what has become to be known as a binder.
My diesel special because total diesel production from 76 through 1980 was a little over 10,500 units. So very low numbers were produced, a little over 5,000 for 1980. So that was the biggest year for diesel production, actually.
You gotta wonder, where did the nickname binder come from when talking about International Scouts?
International has always been synonymous with, agriculture in the early days, and semi-drivers actually used to say, hey, breaker, breaker, we've got a binder coming up, corn binder, and it just kind of stuck. And you know what, I think it's really neat that this vehicle is so associated with rural America, but now it's finding more and more mainstream components. It's wonderful.
The Scout itself hasn't changed, but all of the new aftermarket components have definitely kept the Scout as one of the top choices for the off-roading community. And since we're all in this together, we all have to do our part to preserve areas like Turkey Bay so we can keep enjoying the sport. That's why we partnered up with Mike and the Tread Lightly organization.
Tread Lightly is responsible recreation for everybody. It's educating the public on what needs to be done to help maintain an area like Turkey Bay. We have to maintain it. If we don't, we don't want it to close down. Places are closed everywhere now. If we destroy this area, then it's going to be gone. So we have to maintain the area here for everybody to enjoy.
Now Mike practices what he preaches, and he met us here with his more than capable, daily driven LJ.
I have an 06 Jeep Rubicon LJ, the extended length, which is 11 inches longer than a regular TJ, I believe. I've got it equipped with RCV axles, chrome ollies in the rear. Of course, it's got the 4-to-1 transfer case that I love. I've got a frameless soft top on it. It's an automatic. It's a perfect vehicle for me. Rides great and does everything I need it to do back here.
When we come back, we're talking trail conservation and doing a lot more wheeling. Stay tuned.
Hey, welcome back to XOR and the payoff of our Overlanding-inspired Scout here at Turkey Bay OHV area at Land Between the Lakes, Kentucky. Out here in the woods and on the trails, our 1979 International has been nothing but fun to drive. And so far, it has done everything we built it to do.
Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area is located in Kentucky and Tennessee, between Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. And this beautiful area of Turkey Bay has been a hub for wheeling for many years.
Turkey Bay is an area for off-highway vehicle use, and it's a great place for people to test out their equipment, to find out the limitations of their skills and also their equipment. But it's not an area to specifically go in mud, because that damages our resources and limits the amount of trail riding we can do in the future. Our Turkey Bay is a trail-based recreation area, and we have about 100 miles of trails right here in Turkey Bay.
Land preservation and responsible wheeling go hand in hand. In the same way you wouldn't want oil leaking into these vital streams and waterways, we want to prevent any destruction of these trails themselves. That way, we can keep them open for us and for the next generation. And to ensure this, Christopher tells us how to help.
Well, one of the smartest things that off-roaders can do to minimize their impacts is stay the trail. We have a very refined trail system here that whenever you're tearing up roads, you're putting a lot of sediment into the creeks that later washes down and becomes problems later on. And also damages equipment and damages the opportunity you're going to have here at Turkey Bay. So the best thing people can do is stay the trail.
My first four-wheel drive was an old beat-up K5 that had a strong 350, and I loved the roar of the engine and just how well it conquered terrain. Driving the Scout took me back to those days. Our LS sounded glorious and just had so much raw power. The transmission and gearing gave us immediate response to the go pedal, and the Atlas T-Case just made any washout or stairway, or any obstacle for that matter, one that we could dominate. This was a gorgeous mix of both nostalgia and new technology.
There's nothing better than hitting the trails for a day or for a long weekend. And to be able to take all of your stuff with you on these trips is why we built the Scout. Overlanding is making a huge surge, and bringing the whole family with you is why this sport is so popular. This thing did exactly what it was supposed to do. The right combination of power, gears, tires, and accessories is why this 1979 International Scout was made for overlanding and for an area like Turkey Bay. But instead of us just telling you how much fun we had, why don't you guys just turn up the volume and ride along?
After the break, it's our kind of garden, a rock garden. Stick around.
PowerNation is brought to you by Rock Auto.
Hey guys, welcome back to XOR and the payoff of our Ellis-powered Overlanding Scout. Look what we found. The Rock Garden.
All of these rocks were brought in to really give off-roaders a workout, and we couldn't resist diving right in with our Scout. Careful! Careful, we have a rod there.
The Rock Garden is the perfect place to test out our combination of our 37-inch tires, our 456 gears, and our Atlas transfer case.
The smooth power of our fuel-injected LS made crawling through here a blast.
This is fantastic. It's not that our Scout isn't kind of made for this, it's more made for the overlanding, but I mean, for going in the rock garden, I think it's doing pretty darn good.
At XOR, we like things shaken and not stirred. Always on the rocks.
The spring rate of our new leaf springs allowed our suspension to really flex and twist over this wide variety of large and small rocks. Driver. Driver. Let's see if you can find that hole we fall into. Faster. All right.
Our Eden Detroit lockers allowed for all 4 of our tires to pull this heavy beast up and over all the way to the end of the rock garden.
There you go. Woo! Faster.
Without a doubt, this is one of the best obstacles at Turkey Bay.
Having survived the rock garden, we made our way to the beach area to set up our freshly proven build in its full overlanding mode, including our rooftop tent and awning, so we could relax after a fun day of wheeling.
Now, we all spend a lot of time making sure that our vehicle is trail ready, but what is really important is making sure that you've got a tool bag that is trail ready, because you just never know what Mother Nature might throw at us. When putting together your tool bag, you want to customize the tools that you're bringing along to your vehicle. So grab all your basic hand tools, and a cool little trick that I've picked up is you can grab some stubby wrenches, whether it be standard or metric, put them all on a hose clamp, and also pack in a couple of more assorted sizes of hose clamp for a trail repair. You also want to make sure that you have a couple of things to repair either your driveline or your tires. So you've got a U-joint, you've got your valve stems, valve cores, lug nut stud, and a couple of tire patches. Now for under the hood repairs, usually the first to go are line hoses, belts, and radiator hoses, as well as fasteners. So you always want to make sure that you have several on hand. Medical supplies, vital fluids, and water are always a good thing to make sure that you have on hand. And last but not least, trash bags. You always want to pack out what you've packed in.
Now, to go along with Eliza's pack out what you pack in rule, there's probably going to have to be some more rules you follow at some of these off-road parks. Well, if you plan on having a bonfire at the end of the night, you're probably going to have to bring your own fire pit. Well, I'm going to show you how to make a fire pit with something that you already have behind your shop. And it's not going to serve one purpose or even two. It's actually going to serve 3. Now, I'm sure you guys have a lot of rims laying around the backyard, and this is going to make the perfect fire pit. But I'm going to cut this up in a very special way because, like I said, it's not going to serve one purpose, but it's going to have a couple different ones. Now, you don't have to use a torch to cut out the center of your rim. You can use, well, whatever you got laying around your shop. A cutoff wheel will work just fine. Just make sure and wear all the proper safety equipment. Now, all I got to do is give it a little love tap. There you go. The first purpose of this is obviously for your fire pit. Well, you probably have an old charcoal grill sitting in the backyard. Well, if you take your grate out of your charcoal grill and you cut your rim just perfectly, you now turned your rim into a grill. And you can cook your hot dogs and your hamburgers on it. And the last thing. If you guys are worried about space in the back of your truck or your trail rig, just take your fire pit, flip it over, put your trail bag right inside.